Have you ever been through something so tough that it felt like no one could possibly understand? Or worse, you tried to share your pain, and your friends, instead of comforting you, started giving you unsolicited advice. If you've been there, then you'll definitely relate to what we're talking about today. We're diving back into the story of Job, specifically chapters 5 and 6, where things get really intense. Last time, we saw Job lose everything: his children, his wealth, his health. And his friend Eliphaz started his first speech. In chapter 5, Eliphaz continues his sermon, and honestly, it's a tough pill to swallow. He basically says, "Look, Job, everyone messes up. Man is born to trouble as surely as sparks fly upward." It sounds wise on the surface, right? He's suggesting that trouble is just a part of life. Then he tells Job what he would do in a situation. He says, "If I were you, I would appeal to God. I would lay my cause before him." He paints this beautiful picture of God as a rescuer, someone who saves the needy, heals the wounded, and protects the weak from injustice. He lists all these wonderful things God does, like frustrating the plans of the crafty and giving food in times of famine. Eliphaz's speech builds to this climax, where he tells Job, "Blessed is the one whom God corrects, so do not despise the discipline of the Almighty." He's essentially telling Job, hey, this suffering? It's just God's way of teaching you a lesson. It's for your own good. He concludes by saying that if Job just accepts this correction, God will restore him completely. He'll be safe from harm, his family will flourish, and he'll live a long, full life. Eliphaz is so confident, he ends with, "We have examined this, and it is true." So hear it, and apply it to yourself. Imagine sitting there, covered in sores, having lost your entire family. And your friend tells you to just cheer up, because God is disciplining you for your own good. It feels incredibly invalidating, doesn't it? It completely misses the depth of Job's agony. Eliphaz isn't being intentionally cruel. He's speaking from his own limited understanding of how God works. He's applying a simple formula. Suffering equals sin, so repent and you'll be fine. But life and God are far more complex than that. And that brings us to chapter 6, which is Job's powerful, raw response. He doesn't hold back. He starts by crying out, "If only my anguish could be weighed and all my misery be placed on the scales. It would surely outweigh the sand of the seas." Job isn't just sad. He's crushed by a weight that feels heavier than all the sand in the world. He feels like God himself is attacking him, saying, "The arrows of the Almighty are in me. My spirit drinks in their poison. God's terrors are marshaled against me." This is the cry of a man in deep existential pain. He then turns his attention to his friends. He uses a brilliant analogy, comparing them to a desert wadi or a seasonal stream. In the winter, when there's plenty of water, the stream flows strong. But in the heat of summer, when a thirsty traveler desperately needs a drink, the stream dries up and vanishes. That's what his friends feel like to him. They were there in the good times, but now, in his moment of desperate need, their comfort has evaporated. He says, "You have now become nothing. You see my calamity and are afraid." He challenges them directly. "Have I ever said, 'Give me something'? Or offer a bribe for me from your wealth?" Job is making it clear he doesn't want their money or their pity. All he wanted was a little kindness, a little understanding. Instead, they're dissecting his life, looking for some hidden sin to explain his suffering. His pain is so immense that he questions the very point of his existence. He asks for God to just let him die, to end his suffering. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's a testament to the sheer scale of his pain. He feels that his friends have abandoned true friendship. He says anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. That's a powerful statement. For Job, true friendship and reverence for God are linked. So, what can we take away from this? Eliphaz's advice, though well-intentioned, was ultimately unhelpful because it was impersonal and disconnected from Job's reality. It shows us that when someone is hurting, sometimes the best thing we can do isn't to offer easy answers or theological formulas, but to simply sit with them in their pain, to listen, and to offer a compassionate presence. Job's response teaches us the importance of being honest about our suffering, even to God. It's okay to cry out, to ask the hard questions, and to express the true depth of our anguish. His story gives us permission to be real with our pain. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive. It's heavy stuff, but so important. If you found this meaningful, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. See you next time.